Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear viewers, welcome to our journey through the realms of history, guided by the wisdom of one of the greatest minds of the medieval Islamic world. So let's meet Ibn Khaldun, a scholar, historian, and polymath whose monumental work, the Muqaddimah, completed in 1378, reshaped the way we perceive and interpret history. In this video, we will explore the essence of the Muqaddimah, exploring its profound insights and enduring relevance. Ibn Khaldun's masterpiece was crafted with a purpose to provide a theoretical framework for historical analysis that transcends the pitfall of his era's historiography. Dear audience, in a time marked by flawed interpretation and biases, Ibn Khaldun sought to illuminate the path to a more objective understanding of the past. But the Muqaddimah is more than just an introduction. It lays the foundation for Ibn Khaldun's magnum opus, the Kitab al-Ibar, a comprehensive exploration of Arab and Berber history. Dear viewers, in the foreword of Muqaddimah, Ibn Khaldun eloquently articulates his rationale for his monumental undertaking. He observes that history is comprehensible to both knowledgeable and to uninformed alike. He highlights the crucial disparity between the present Zahir aspect of history and its deeper significance, which we can call Batin. I'm quoting, "For on the surface, history is no more than information about political events, dynasties, and occurrences of the remote past, elegantly presented and spiced with proverbs. It serves to entertain large crowded gatherings and bring into us an understanding of human affairs. It shows how changing conditions affected human affairs, how certain dynasties came to occupy an ever wider space in the world, and how they settled the earth until they heard the call that their time was up. The inner meaning of history, on the other hand, involves speculations and an attempt to get at truth, subtle explanation of causes and origins of existing things, and deep knowledge of how and whys of the even." In Ibn Khaldun's perspective, the Kitab al-Ibar addresses the surface level events of history, offering detailed narratives of the Arab and Berber dynasties in the east, the Mashriq, and the Arab west, the Maghrib. Conversely, the Muqaddimah, serving as both an introduction and initial book of Ibn Khaldun's extensive Kitab al-Ibar, explores the underlying significance of historical events. Dear audience, after laying down some initial thoughts about the study of history in the foreword, Ibn Khaldun goes on to offer further insight into the common mistakes historians tend to make. Mastering the discipline of history demands not only a thorough grasp of multiple sources, but also a keen speculative intellect. Historical accounts cannot be blindly accepted at face value. Ignorance of customs, political fundamentals, and dynamics of human social structure, along with the neglect of the comparative approach, more often lead to inaccuracies in recounting events. Ibn Khaldun presents numerous examples to illustrate these pitfalls. For instance, he points out that the esteemed historian al-Mas'udi, among others, recounted that Moses led an army of Israelites numbering over 600,000 armed men into the battle. Al-Mas'udi failed to question the feasibility of such a massive army engaging in combat. Such a vast force would stretch far beyond the visible horizon of the battlefield. Ibn Khaldun observes that this was the case with military formation in his era, which serves as an evidence regarding the historical conditions. Additionally, Ibn Khaldun highlights that the expansive territory controlled by the Persians can offer insights into the size of Moses' army. If the Persians governed large lands, it follows logically that the military would outnumber that of Israelites. This argument gains credibility considered that the Persians, led by Nebuchadnezzar, conquered the Israelites. Nebuchadnezzar was only a provincial governor in the Persian Empire, and that total Persian forces numbered around 200,000 soldiers. Even if Nebuchadnezzar commanded all these troops, it's improbable that he confronted 600,000 Israelites in the battle. Ibn Khaldun also suggests that it's implausible for Israelites to have amassed such numbers, considering they were the descendants of Israel and unlikely to multiply to such an extent within just 4 generations. Ibn Khaldun extensively discusses the errors made by historians to emphasize the essential criteria for composing historical accurate narratives. In the opening chapter of the book 1 of Kitab al-Ibar, known as the Muqaddimah, Ibn Khaldun meticulously lists the numerous errors commonly found among historians. He outlines 7 key reasons why historical accounts often contain inaccuracies. The first reason is bias or partiality towards particular opinions, sects, or schools. A scholar lacking objectivity fails to subject the gathered information to proper critique and analysis. The second reason lies in the excessive reliance on transmitters. Within Islamic tradition, there exists a discipline known as personality criticism, al-jarh wa ta'dil, which evaluates the integrity, accuracy, comprehensiveness, and reliability of those transmitting prophetic traditions. Ibn Khaldun's concern here is the tendency to only depend on transmitters without critically assessing the feasibility of events or arguments. A third factor is a scholar's lack of awareness regarding the purpose of certain events. Ibn Khaldun suggests that many transmitters appear unaware of the true significance behind their observation or reported facts. They attribute a significance to transmitted information that is often misplaced, resulting in inaccuracies. An example of this is the risk of projecting present circumstances onto the past. A historian, despite having thoroughly studied past events, may overlook changes in circumstances that require a reinterpretation different from their initial understanding. This awareness of evolving conditions often leads them to apply present-day knowledge to historical context, and which often results in inaccuracies. Ibn Khaldun illustrates this with an example concerning the role of judges in different time periods. In the past, such as during the Umayyad dynasty in Spain, the role of judge held far more significance than it did in later periods. Judges weren't merely administrative figures, but individuals deeply entwined with the asabiya, or the group cohesion of the dynasty. They accompanied the army during campaigns and were entrusted with the crucial state matters beyond the typical jurisdiction of the judges in the later periods. However, as the Arab dynasty in Spain weakened, the group cohesion diminished and mutual cooperation eroded. Consequently, the role of judges evolved into a more administrative position, losing much of its former importance. Failure to recognize this shift over time might lead some to mistakenly believe that the role of judges in the past was as significant as it became later on. A fourth reason that makes untruths unavoidable in historical information is the presence of erroneous assumption as to the truth of a report. This is the result of the reliance on transmitters. Fifth, there is a problem of the ignorance of how conditions correspond with the reality. The transmitter reports on conditions without being aware of whether or not the various aspects attached to those conditions belong to its essence or are the artificial distortion of the normal phenomena. The sixth reason is the desire to praise those in the position of the authority and high rank. In this case, information may not be truthful, as the objectives are not to report the truth, but to ingratiate those who report to the people of standing in power. As we draw this segment to close, we reflect on the profound insights we have gained into the study of history through the lens of Ibn Khaldun. The seventh and probably the most significant reason for the prevalence of inaccuracies in the historical account is lack of understanding of the fundamental nature of the human society's conditions. Each phenomena possesses its own distinctive nature, characterized by its essential qualities, that and the incidental conditions a'rad associated with it. To discern truth from falsehood in historical narratives, the student of history must grasp the sense of the conditions and events, distinguishing between what is feasible and what is not. This discernment enables one to sift through genuine information and discard the spurious or false. Without this discerning ability, there is a risk of inadvertently accepting the absurd claims. So dear viewers, in the upcoming parts, we will explore Ibn Khaldun's methodology for discerning truth from fiction in historical narratives and uncovering his radical approach to the historiography and its enduring relevance. So join us as we navigate through the complexities of human societies, guided by the wisdom of Ibn Khaldun, a trailblazer of the study of history and social sciences. Thank you for joining us in this enlightening journey.